Welcome to my channel Valuable Coins, All World. If you've ever wondered if those old coins you have lying around could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into some of the rarest US coins, revealing their jaw-dropping values that will leave you amazed. Stick with us till the end. You won't want to miss what these hidden treasures could be worth. Let's get started. Top 1. Imagine holding a piece of American history in the palm of your hand. Something small, shiny, and often overlooked. Something you might mistake for ordinary pocket change. But what if I told you that a simple Washington quarter from the year 1965 could actually be a hidden treasure worth far more than you'd ever expect? That's right. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of one of America's most iconic coins, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar. It's a coin that many people see as common, but for those who know what to look for, it could be one of the most valuable pieces in your entire collection. This isn't just another coin. This is a mysterious relic from a pivotal moment in American monetary history, with secrets that could turn it into a fortune. Now, let's rewind the clock for a moment. The year was 1965, and the United States was undergoing a massive shift in its coinage system. Up until 1964, quarters were made of 90% silver. But due to rising silver prices and a coin shortage that was affecting the entire country, the U.S. Mint made a monumental decision. Starting in 1965, quarters would no longer be struck in silver. Instead, they would be made using a copper-nickel clad composition, with an inner core of pure copper sandwiched between outer layers of nickel. It may not sound like much, but this change marked the beginning of the end for silver circulating coinage in the U.S. And it also gave birth to one of the most intriguing modern coin varieties collectors still search for to this day. Most people assume that all 1965 quarters are copper-nickel clad and worth only face value. But here's where it gets exciting. A small number of 1,965 quarters were mistakenly struck on leftover silver planchets intended for the 1964 coins. These rare minting errors are not only difficult to find, but they are also incredibly valuable. The mistake happened during the transitional period when the U.S. Mint was converting its equipment and using up existing materials. In the chaos of that changeover, a few silver blanks found their way into the presses and were stamped with the 1965 date. To the untrained eye, these quarters might not look any different, but their composition, weight, and even sound can give away their true identity. So how do you tell if your 1965 quarter is one of these extremely rare silver varieties? First, check the coin's edge. Regular clad coins will show a distinct copper stripe along the edge due to the sandwich of metals used. A silver quarter, however, will have a solid silver-colored edge with no visible copper. Second, the weight is different. A clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, while a silver one weighs closer to 6.25 grams. And lastly, if you're still not sure, a simple ping test can help. A silver coin has a higher pitched ring than its clad counterpart. But the best way to be certain is to have the coin tested or graded by a professional numismatic service. Aside from the silver error, 1965 quarters can also be valuable if they feature certain other anomalies. Double die errors, off-center strikes, or even quarters struck on incorrect planchets can dramatically increase the coin's worth. Condition also plays a huge role. If your 1965 quarter has never been circulated, still has full mint luster, and has been preserved in nearly perfect condition, collectors will pay a premium for it, especially if it's been officially graded as Mint State 65 or higher. These gems are extremely scarce because most quarters from that year were heavily circulated and show wear and tear from decades of use. There's also an important historical context to consider. The 1965 quarter isn't just a coin. It's a milestone in the evolution of American money. It represents a time of economic change, innovation at the mint, and the end of an era for silver coinage. Collectors value not just the metal, but the story. And when a coin carries both historical significance and physical rarity, its value can skyrocket in the eyes of those who truly appreciate its meaning. So, before you toss your change in a jar or spend that quarter on a vending machine snack, take a moment to look closely. That seemingly ordinary coin from 1965 could be something truly extraordinary. It might carry a mistake made by history, a flaw born of transition, and a value far beyond its face. Because in the rarest of cases, a 1965 Washington quarter dollar, particularly one struck on a silver planchet and preserved in exceptional condition, can fetch an absolutely astounding price of $190,000. Top 2. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered if it might be worth more than just 25 cents? What if I told you that tucked away in an old drawer, a dusty coin collection, or even in the spare change jar on your kitchen counter, there could be a Washington quarter from 1986 that's worth a life-changing fortune? That's right. What seems like a basic piece of U.S. currency might actually be one of the rarest treasures still circulating among us today. The 1986 Washington quarter dollar isn't just a relic of the Reagan era. It's a window into a fascinating corner of American numismatics, and in some rare cases, it's a coin that could quite literally be worth its weight in gold. The Washington Quarter series began back in 1932, intended to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Since then, the design became a staple of American pocket change, with Washington's profile proudly displayed on the obverse. By 1986, the quarter had already seen decades of changes, not in design, but in materials, mint marks, and production quality. That year in particular, the U.S. Mint was operating multiple facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver, producing millions of quarters for everyday use. But hidden among these ordinary coins are a few rare specimens, coins that, because of minting errors or unusual circumstances, have become highly desirable collectibles. What sets the 1986 quarter apart from many of its neighboring years is that several of them were struck with noticeable and valuable minting errors. For example, there are known instances of 1986 quarters being struck off-center, missing mint marks, or even being struck on planchets intended for other denominations entirely, such as a nickel or a penny. These types of errors are incredibly rare and often occur during the high-speed, high-volume production runs when quality control standards occasionally slipped. A single mistake like this, barely noticeable to someone unaware, can dramatically increase the value of a coin if identified and authenticated. Collectors also seek out quarters with doubling errors, especially on the date or the word liberty, which are more subtle and require a keen eye spot. These double die strikes give a shadow-like appearance to the lettering or numbers and are a true gem for any collector. Combine such an error with an uncirculated, high-grade condition, preferably graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC, and you're looking at a coin that becomes exponentially more valuable. The difference between a well-worn coin that passed through thousands of hands and a pristine, mint-state example is night and day when it comes to value. Another fascinating aspect about the 1986 quarter is its place in the broader economic and cultural context of the mid-1980s. America was in a time of technological advancement and economic recovery, and the coins of that era reflect the transition between traditional minting practices and more modern processes. As such, errors from this period stand out as rare snapshots of a mint system in flux. A collector who finds a rare 1986 quarter isn't just holding metal, they're holding a piece of history, a product of human error intersecting with mechanical precision, and a symbol of a unique time in our nation's coinage history. Finding such a coin isn't impossible, but it takes patience, knowledge, and a bit of luck. Often, these rare quarters are found by people who take the time to inspect their change or browse through inherited coin collections. What seems like just another coin to one person might be a jackpot to another. And when such coins come up for auction, they attract serious attention from collectors and investors alike. It's not just about owning a rare coin. It's about owning a story, a legacy, and a unique artifact of American culture. So the next time you're handed a quarter at the store or reach into your change jar, take a closer look. Examine the edges, the date, the details. Because there's a chance, no matter how small, that you could be holding one of the rarest and most valuable quarters ever produced in 1986. And if you do, you might be amazed to learn just how much it could be worth. In the rarest and most pristine cases, a 1986 Washington quarter dollar has fetched an astonishing price of $130,000. Top 3. Imagine reaching into your pocket for some spare change, and among the coins that jingle in your palm, you find a simple quarter, just another Washington quarter, right? But what if I told you that this humble 25-cent piece could actually be hiding an extraordinary secret, one that could change your life forever? Let's take a closer look at the fascinating story of the 1994 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that many overlook but which, under the right circumstances, could be worth far more than anyone might expect. What you might think is just pocket change could turn out to be a hidden treasure of immense value. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Over the decades, its design remained relatively consistent, but the details in its minting, production quality, and occasional errors have created countless opportunities for rare and valuable versions of this everyday coin to emerge. The 1994 edition of the Washington quarter may not immediately stand out from the rest, but therein lies the magic. Sometimes, the most incredible discoveries are the ones hiding in plain sight, quietly waiting for someone with a keen eye to recognize their true value. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1994 Washington quarter so special. First, this year was a period of transition in minting technology and quality control at the U.S. Mint. While millions of quarters were produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, a small number were struck with rare and highly collectible errors. These could include double dies, off-center strikes, or even the exceedingly rare wrong planchet errors. When a quarter is mistakenly struck on a coin blank intended for another denomination, such as a dime or a nickel, errors like these often escape notice until the coins are out in circulation, making them elusive and thrilling to hunt. In particular, collectors are on the lookout for quarters with doubling on the obverse, the front side of the coin. Especially on Washington's profile, the date, or the inscriptions like "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." This doubling effect is the result of a die that has shifted slightly during the minting process, creating a shadowed appearance on the coin's features. Additionally, some 1994 quarters were misaligned during the strike or struck with a filled die, causing missing or faded details. These kinds of variations, especially when combined with a high-grade, uncirculated condition, can make the coin significantly more valuable to collectors. But it's not just errors that determine a coin's worth. The condition of the quarter plays a massive role in its valuation. Coins that have never been in circulation, known as mint state coins, and those that have been professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC, can command far higher prices than those with signs of wear and tear. For a 1994 Washington quarter to be truly valuable, it must stand out not just in error, but also in preservation. Sharp details, brilliant luster, and a flawless surface make all the difference when it comes to auction prices. What makes the story even more compelling is how accessible this coin is. It's not locked away in museums or owned only by elite collectors. These coins can still be found in coin rolls, old collections, or even in your everyday change. The thrill of the hunt, the idea that a life-altering treasure could be hidden among the most ordinary objects, is what drives so many coin enthusiasts. Each 1994 quarter you come across might be the one. And the stories of people stumbling upon rare coins and selling them for tens of thousands of dollars are not urban legends, they're real events that continue to inspire new generations of collectors. So next time you get change at a gas station, pay close attention. Look closely at the date, inspect the coin under good lighting, and notice the fine details. That unassuming 1994 quarter might just be a key to something far greater than what its face value suggests. Because in some of the rarest and most pristine cases, a 1994 Washington quarter dollar has been valued at an incredible $84,000.